This is gonna blow your mind. I bet you didn't know that there's a magical tool called Cascading Style Sheets, or CSS for short. This powerful tool holds the secret to controlling the visual presentation of web pages. With a wave of its wand, it can transform a plain, boring HTML document into a visually stunning and engaging website. Imagine you're an architect. You wouldn't just build the walls and roof of a house. You'd paint the walls, choose the flooring, and arrange the furniture to make it a home. CSS gives you that same power and flexibility with your web pages, turning them into digital masterpieces. Join us on this enchanting journey as we unlock the full potential of CSS. We'll start with the basics, laying the foundation, and then venture into more advanced techniques. Get ready to transform your web design skills and bring your creative visions to life with the magic of CSS. Imagine you're an artist, and your canvas is a web page. CSS is your palette of colors and brushes. With CSS, you create rules that tell your web page how to look and feel. Each rule is like a recipe, with a selector and a declaration block. Let's dive into these ingredients. Selectors. Think of selectors as the addresses of the elements you want to style. For example, selects all elements, while targets elements with the class button. Declaration blocks. These are the instructions that define the styles separated by semicolons. Each declaration is a key value pair like a command and its setting. Properties and values. Properties are the aspects you want to change, such as or. Values are the specific settings for those properties. For instance, CSS H1, color blue, font size, 24px. In this example, we're selecting all elements and giving them two style declarations. The first sets the text color to blue, and the second sets the font size to 24 pixels. I bet you didn't know how powerful CSS selectors can be. Imagine you're an artist and your canvas is a web page. Selectors are your brushes, giving you the precision to paint exactly where you want. Let's embark on a journey through some of the most common selector types. First, we have type selectors. Picture them as the broad strokes, targeting elements based on their HTML tag name. For instance, selects all elements, while targets all unordered lists. Next, we have class selectors. Think of them as your detail brushes, allowing you to target elements based on their class attribute. For example, selects all elements with the class highlight, regardless of their tag name. Then, there are ID selectors. These are your precision tools targeting a single, unique element on the page based on its ID attribute. For instance, would select the element with the ID header. Moving on, we have descendant combinators. These are like your layering techniques, allowing you to target elements that are descendants of other elements. For example, would select all list items that are descendants of an unordered list within a navigation element. Finally, we have pseudo-classes. These are your special effects, providing a way to target elements based on their state or position within the document. For instance, applies styles when the user hovers over an element, while targets the first child element of its parent. By mastering these various selector types, you gain the power to craft your web pages with the finesse of a seasoned artist, creating visually rich and engaging designs. Imagine you're an artist, and your canvas is the web. CSS properties are your palette, offering a myriad of colors and brushes to bring your vision to life. Let's dive into some of the most magical tools in your CSS toolkit. First, we have text properties. These are like the fine-tipped brushes that let you shape the look and feel of your text, including font size, font style, font weight, line height, and many more. Next, we have background properties. Think of these as the backdrop of your masterpiece, allowing you to control the background of elements, including background color, background image, background position, and background size. Then, there are margin and padding properties. These are like the frames around your artwork, controlling the spacing around elements. Margin creates space outside the element's border, while padding adds space inside the border. Border properties are like the edges of your canvas, defining the style, width, and color of an element's border. You can even customize each side of the border individually. The display property is like the layout of your gallery, crucial for controlling how elements are arranged. Common values include block, inline, flex, grid, and none. Positioning properties are like the placement of your art pieces within the gallery. Options include static, relative, absolute, fixed, and sticky. By mastering these property categories and their respective values, you unlock the full potential of CSS to craft visually stunning and well-structured web designs. Why are there not more people talking about Flexbox? Welcome to Chapter 5, where we dive into the magic of Flexbox and discover how it can transform your web design experience. Imagine you're a web designer struggling with traditional layout methods. Then you discover Flexbox, a powerful CSS layout module that simplifies creating complex, responsive designs. With Flexbox, arranging elements within a container becomes a breeze, both horizontally and vertically. Let's break down the key concepts. First, we have the Flex container, the parent element that holds all the Flex items. Next, the Flex items, which are the child elements within the Flex container. Flex direction controls the direction in which these items are laid out, either in a row or a column. Justify content aligns the items along the main axis, which can be horizontal or vertical. Align items takes care of the alignment along the cross axis, perpendicular to the main axis. And finally, Flex wrap determines whether items should wrap onto multiple lines if they exceed the container's width. Flexbox eliminates the need for complex floats and positioning techniques, making it effortless to create dynamic and responsive layouts that adapt seamlessly to different screen sizes. So, embrace the magic of Flexbox and watch your web design skills soar to new heights. Welcome to Section 6. Where we dive into the world of grid layouts and discover the magic of precision design for the modern web. Imagine having a powerful tool in your hands that lets you create stunning two-dimensional layouts effortlessly. That's what grid layout in CSS offers. Picture a grid-based system where you can arrange elements into rows and columns, giving you unparalleled control over the placement and alignment of your content. Let's explore some key concepts in grid layout. First, we have the grid container. The grid container is the parent element that defines the entire grid structure, setting the stage for your design. Within this container we have grid items, the child elements that live inside the grid. Next, we define the grid template columns and rows, which determine the number and size of columns and rows in your grid. And don't forget the grid gap, which sets the spacing between your grid items, adding that perfect touch of separation. Finally, we have grid areas, allowing you to name and place grid items within the grid using a visual template. With grid layout, you can create intricate and visually appealing designs with ease, making it an essential tool for any modern web designer. If you're a web designer, then you need to master CSS animations. Let's bring your designs to life. Imagine your web pages coming alive with captivating visual effects and interactive elements. That's the magic of CSS animations. Picture this. You have the power to control the timing, duration, and easing of property changes, making your designs dance and move. Let's break it down. Key concepts in CSS animations include the rule. It defines the animation sequence and property changes over time. From subtle transitions to complex character animations, CSS animations can transform your websites, making them more engaging and enhancing the user experience. Welcome to Chapter 8, where we dive into the world of CSS blunders and how to sidestep them. Picture this, even the most seasoned developers find themselves tangled in CSS mishaps. Let's explore some common pitfalls and how you can avoid them. First up, overusing. While it can be a lifesaver in certain scenarios, overdoing it can lead to specificity wars, making your CSS a nightmare to maintain. Next, not using a CSS reset. Browsers come with their own default styles, which can cause inconsistencies. A CSS reset normalizes these styles, giving you a consistent starting point. Third, poorly structured CSS, disorganized CSS can be a real headache. Use comments, indentation, and meaningful names to keep your code clean and readable. Fourth, not optimizing for performance. Large CSS files can slow down your site. Minify your CSS, combine files, and use browser caching to boost performance. Fifth, not testing across different browsers. Browsers can render CSS differently. Always test your designs in multiple browsers to ensure compatibility. By being aware of these common mistakes and following best practices, you can write cleaner, more maintainable, and high-performing CSS code. Welcome to the final chapter of our CSS journey, where we embrace the true power of CSS. Imagine the thrill of unlocking the full potential of CSS, just like a coder celebrating their first big success. We've traveled far, from the basics of selectors, properties, and values to mastering advanced techniques like flexbox, grid layout, and animations. Remember, becoming a CSS master is a journey that requires time and dedication. Don't hesitate to experiment, try out new techniques, and learn from every mistake along the way. The world of web design is ever-changing, so embrace the challenge and keep learning. Now it's your turn to shine. Share your CSS stories, challenges, and triumphs in the comments below. Let's learn from each other and continue to push the boundaries of what's possible with CSS. If you enjoyed this series, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more web design adventures. And share this video with your fellow designers to spread the knowledge.